So a couple days ago, America did as America does, and some psycho took a gun, they went to a school, and they shot up the school. It was a girl who apparently goes by the name of Sam. She was 15 years old, went to school with a 9mm handgun, and proceeded to shoot a student and a teacher, and then shot herself fatally. There were 3 total casualties, not deaths, but casualties. I believe one of the people shot died, and the other is in critical condition. I'm not 100% sure on that. It might have just been her that died. But regardless, this has been a big story. And as you can imagine, the fact that, as the news is reporting, this would be a female school shooter, pretty rare occurrence. There are a lot of school shootings, and every time it's like a white dude who's generally kind of gangly and nerdy with like an incel past and right-leaning politics in their like online history. Vast majority of the time that's the case. It's not common for a 15-year-old girl to grab a gun and shoot like anything up. Certainly not a school. So, as you can imagine, this story on its own, just for the uniqueness of it, took off more than most of these stories would. And chuds naturally started accusing this shooter of being trans. Because it couldn't possibly be a female shooter, it must be a trans man shooter. That's what the allegation has been, that this shooter was a trans man, like the Tennessee shooter from a year or so ago. That first and only trans shooter that the right has used as ammo against trans rights for about a year and a half now. Well, the manifesto of this shooter, the alleged manifesto, and between you and me, guys, I'm pretty certain it's real. It seems real. Has leaked. A Twitter poster by the name of Slatsism made a post. And at first it may seem fake, but they include screenshots of the manifesto and a lot of information that would require a lot of effort and creative story writing skill to quickly throw this together as a fake. And people are overwhelmingly taking this as real. So with that in mind, we're going to assume it is. Here's the post from the person who managed to leak the shooter's manifesto. I have made contact with the alleged boyfriend of the Wisconsin shooter. He was very graciously provided me the full manifesto, which I verified by having him screen record himself opening it from a direct link the shooter sent to him via WhatsApp. I told him I would do my best to dispel some of the misinformation and present things as truthfully as I was given them, and I will hold myself to that. Here are some of the main points that we get from the manifesto. I'm not going to be reading the manifesto because it's like hateful and insane, but I will summarize it for the sake of important points I want to make. Her boyfriend knew her as Samantha Rupnow. She also went by a different name, one which was also feminine, but adopted the name Samantha, and this was the name her boyfriend says she had on her school identification card. She was a student at Abundant Life, and was born on November 7, 2009, and was born female and was not transgender. Her boyfriend was born male and is also not transgender. Her manifesto was titled War Against Humanity. It is a 6-page long manifesto, and in it, she speaks about having extremely difficult relationship with her parents, who she referred to as scum. She also claims her family did not love her or want her, and expresses feeling like the wrong child, quote unquote, of her family. She says that she had planned to commit suicide a long time ago, but felt that committing a shooting was, quote, better for evolution rather than just one stupid, boring suicide, unquote. She expresses deep admiration for Pekka Erik Auvinen, Arda Kuksiewiczym, very Polish or something name, but there's dots above the U's, and Vladislav Rozlikov. She offered particular praise for, fuck that name, who was a Turkish, not Polish, Turkish, my bad, Turkish neo-Nazi who committed a mass murder in Ickischer earlier this year and stated that he was an inspiration to her, She calls him an ultimate saint. That's right, guys. Not only is she not trans, like the right has been desperately claiming and hoping that she would be, but in her manifesto, she is praising Nazi shooters. Christian nationalist Nazi shooters. The fact that this was a Christian school really likely had no bearing on the targeting. It was just the school she went to. She just wanted to kill people. She was just insane, had some sort of fangirlish following of these Nazis, these Nazi murderers, and wanted to imitate them. She offered particular praise. Wait, I already read that bit. She expressed that she got the gun for committing the attack through lies, manipulation, and her father's stupidity, unquote. More to come shortly. I'll make some screenshots of the manifesto. In the interim, her boyfriend says the photo that is making the rounds is not how he remembers her, and believes it was somewhat edited to make her look worse. He provided me a photo of her in the same t-shirt and room. Apparently the photo of her going around, that's a bit of a weird thing to say. It feels like that almost feels like he was like, okay, yeah, I dated her, all right, but listen, in my defense, she doesn't really look as bad as she does in the mugshots. Like, what? Like, what? That is the most, like, trashy dude thing to argue in this situation. Like, why, dude? They also include a picture of, I guess, allegedly her. I guess this is the picture that the boyfriend sent this poster. Here I will include some screenshots of the manifesto. I am very hesitant to post the whole thing, not because the content is graphic in any way, but I'm worried it will violate the terms of service, and I'm not intending to do that. This page is one of the two in full, and then there's 2 pages of it. It looks very fucking real. Obviously, I'll just show it here, but I'm not going to read it out or anything like that. That's insane. Like, no kid should be close to guns. That's the thing. A lot of gun owners who have kids think that their kids will never do a dumb thing with their firearms. So they think they're the exception to the rule, that you need to secure and keep safe your firearms from, you know, unsafe hands. Some more Wisconsin shooter info and the 3rd page of her manifesto. So here's some more info just summarizing things. Her boyfriend had known her for 2 years. They were in a long-distance relationship and never met in person. They met on social media. He says she never previously expressed any desire to commit a shooting and only sent him her manifesto the day of. Timestamps of their messages shown to me demonstrate she sent it to him via WhatsApp at approximately 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. She posted it to Twitter at 11:50 a.m. Eastern Time. So a bit over an hour later. The shooting occurred around 11:57. So the boyfriend received the manifesto 2 hours before the shooting. That's a bad look for him. 2 hours before the shooting, he received the manifesto? Over 2 hours. I rounded down a little bit the time, so it's actually a little over 2 hours. That's a bad fucking look. He did not see her messages until 1:12 p.m. Eastern, though. Okay, never mind. I spoke too soon. Apparently the messages were not read, and I'm pretty sure WhatsApp tells you when you read a message, until 1:12 p.m. Eastern, so hours after the shooting. At which point the act had been committed and she was already deceased. He describes her as being kind, generous towards him, and cheerful. He describes her as always making him gifts and never expecting anything in return. However, on page 4 of her manifesto, Samantha says that she acquired the weapon to commit the shooting through blah, blah, blah. We already read that bit. Her boyfriend says he was aware that there was a gun safe in her house, but does not know how she got access to it. Some news sources have incorrectly stated that Rupnow is 17 years of age, confirming it against her own parents' Facebook. She was born November 7, 2009, exactly as she stated in her manifesto, making her only 15. 15-year-old fucking killer. A 15-year-old fucking killer, dude. It's just, I feel like that is probably the what I would like to be the main focus of the story is why are there young kids taking to killing in this country? Like, what about this life in this country is making teenagers and young kids take to killing each other? Police have now corrected the record live and confirmed the shooter was 15. Okay, so this updates over time as more info comes out, but yeah, I will show you the this bit here. I think this page of the manifesto really gets across the point that she was very Nazi-esque. She praises these two Nazi shooters, and yeah, pretty cringe stuff. Pretty cringe stuff. Not only that, by the way, guys, you want to know what the biggest bit of irony in this manifesto coming out? She dedicates a whole section of the manifesto to talking about how, well, she's a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. And a femcel, too. That's right, guys. Not only is she not trans, not only did she idolize Nazis, but she was also, especially on her social media, an avowed TERF. An avowed anti-trans radical feminist. To be clear, by the way, TERFs are not radical feminists in the sense that the word would make you believe. They're not, like, radically feminists. They're actually just, like, woman supremacists, and they hate men. It's not really a progressive ideology, and they, for some reason, tend to align with the right more than they align with the left, these TERFs. Yeah, J.K. Rowling is a good example of someone who, probably not as radical, but politically aligns with this shooter. J.K. Rowling is a TERF. Her brand of transphobia is the same brand of transphobia that this shooter believed in. And so, in a matter of 24 hours, we have gone from, as far as we know, the truth of this story being a trans shooter went to their Christian school to murder Christian children because they're a crazy woke psycho. That was the narrative taking off, to the story and all of the facts really coming out now, and we find out everything that is the opposite of that is true. But you want to know what the kicker is? The right doesn't care. The right doesn't care about the truth. They don't care about the actual identity of this shooter. They never have, they never will. They saw this immediately as an opportunity to build a narrative. And they're going to push that narrative as far as they can push it and get as much out of it as they can get. And once it starts hurting them to repeat this talking point more than it helps them to repeat it, they're going to drop it. And within a month, not a single soul will remember that they did this whole shenanigans. Everyone will forget. They'll move on to the next thing, and they'll keep doing that at such a speed and at such a frequency that it's impossible to remember all the times that they pulled shit like this. And they'll keep doing it. That's the kicker. The fact that the shooter isn't trans and is in fact a transphobic Nazi idolizer, it won't change anything about the narrative that the right pushes, because they don't care. The reality of this situation never mattered anyway. But I guess it's nice to know that we were right. Regardless, though, with all that in mind, if you enjoyed this segment as much as you could, I suppose, then consider leaving a like or a comment, or both. Likes and comments, thumbs ups and comments, I guess you could say, are the best way to support the channel. Not only are they totally free, but they tell YouTube to push my content in the algorithm and recommend it to more people, which helps me immensely. So thank you to everybody who likes and comments immensely. I really do appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to follow my social medias, linked down below in the description of the stream and videos. Follow me on Blue Sky and join my Discord if you haven't already. It's great. Those two platforms in particular are popping off right now for me. And of course, if you want to see more from me, and you want to support me financially and help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, gifting a sub, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, I really do appreciate it. You guys are so based in Pog and kind. Thank you, as always, and have a good one.